What's up, YouTube? It's Dan here. Today I'm going to be discussing a fragrance for men from the house of Yves Saint Laurent called M7. Now, this fragrance was released in 2002 and it was the first male release from the house of YSL under Tom Ford's direction. So, that's awesome, Mr. Ford himself. Now, for all of you M7 fans out there, this video is not meant to make you cry or get you pissed. This is just how this fragrance worked in my world, and boy, it just goes to show you just how differently fragrances can work on people. And this is my story. This is my journey with this one, and it all started with the original formulation from 2002. I'm going to be discussing 3 formulations of this fragrance today. The original, the reformulated version, and Oud Absolu. Now, I started off with the vintage, and I gotta tell you, I was very, very enthused about checking out this fragrance. From all the talk and what I read about this fragrance, oh, I was like, damn, this is gonna be my designer rock star. I was so pumped for this thing to thoroughly rock my world. And I was quite let down, to tell you the truth. First off, this is a quality fragrance, no doubt about that, just for the right person and not for me. But it definitely is an excellent fragrance. I would give this one high marks for sure. But as far as personal taste goes, this is very far from it. Now, how this fragrance works out on me, the original formulation, the top of this is what I really love. It's got Dan written all over it, and I'm like, hell yeah. People talk about that cherry accord, that cherry cough medicine, incense type smell, and I can totally see that, but for me it's more of a dried fruit accord sitting on top of that eggerwood, and the eggerwood's definitely not loud, it's not in your face, but it's creating a backdrop of woods and incense there, just a touch of it. And it's also accompanied by the base, the amber, and the amber in this is focused more on the benzoin, so it's like a soft, creamy, vanillic type of flavor with a touch of an almond quality there about it as well. So you have that going on at top, and at the top it's fierce. To me it screams manly. The incense is loud. I love that dried fruit accord going on. I love the way the amber feels with this right away at the top, but very quickly, that's when this fragrance lets me down. The good news is over. I'm talking like within 3 to 5 minutes, boom, I get this force of powder. It just comes rolling in, and it totally envelops this fragrance. And if you know me, I am not a fan of powder, but I will say this. The blend of this and the way that this works on my skin, with that powder, I could see where people would thoroughly love this fragrance because the blend is just phenomenal. I can appreciate that. I can respect that. Just for personal taste, I don't like the powder. And as you're fading through the heart for quite a few hours there, I get that powder, creamy vanillic, amber quality there, sitting with the dried fruit and the incense type of smell, but those get really quiet. That powder force is the main factor. Now, as this fragrance is on its last legs on my skin, I'm pretty much just left with a very soft, powdery benzoin type of feel. That creamy vanillic almond kind of smell there as it drifts off into Never Never Land. And this fragrance, the original formulation, well, this one's a beast. This one lasts all day. Cannot get this off my skin. And I have tried. She is a monster. Now, let's talk about the powder a little bit, because some people out there are probably already going, what the hell? Powder? I know you gotta be, because when I first started wearing this fragrance and was on Facebook complaining about the powder, people were writing me going, powder? What are you, nuts? What are you, smoking crack? There's no powder in M7. And I thought, what the hell? Am I going nuts? So I started a thread at Base Notes. And what do you know? Pretty much everybody there was like, nope, no powder. Nope, no powder. Don't see no powder, Dan. You're nuts. I'm like, what the hell? It's damn powder. And everywhere I went, people were smelling powder all over me. So I know it wasn't just my head, so I got to reading more reviews, and I'm on Fragrantica, and I'm all over, and finally I come across a few reviews where people describe this fragrance, how I feel about it. It comes off powdery, comes off kind of feminine, and some people were just not a fan of it because of that. And the further I have gone with this fragrance, I have ran into other folks on Facebook that talk about it being powdery as well. So, for those of you that this fragrance does not come off powdery on, I am thoroughly jealous, because it probably is the rock star that I wanted it to be on my skin, and my skin just is screwing with me and telling me, no way, man, this is going to be powder all the way, and you're not going to like it. But that's okay. Can't win them all, I guess. Now, as far as the Reform and Oud Absolu, basically, it's pretty much the same type of fragrance, except for the Reform and Oud Absolu. The powder in it, the powder effect that it has on my skin, it has died down, is a lot calmer than what it is in the vintage. So, I like the Reform and Oud Absolu a little bit better. I can tolerate it a little bit more, even though the powder is still there. I get a little bit more of the incensey vibe. The woods come out a little bit more out of the Reform, but the powder is still there. It's not as loud. It's still something that I'm like, I'm never probably ever going to really wear again. Doesn't really trip my trigger. And as far as Oud Absolu is pretty much exactly like the Reform. They list some different notes on the bottle, but who knows? That could be marketing. All of those notes could be in the original and the Reform as well. You know, it pretty much smells exactly the same, except for there is just a quality missing about it. It seems a little bland. It seems to have just a touch, like maybe 3%. Less body than what the Reform does. Something just feels like it's missing to me. So out of all three, I would pick the reformulated version as my favorite, and I've talked with others who feel the same way. This seems to be like one time that a lot of people like the reformulated version better than the vintage. I don't know, especially me. The vintage just screams powder bomb and is feminine as hell on me. As far as my time with this fragrance and the comments that I received, every comment that I received with this fragrance, somebody mentioned powder. And today, in fact, my last day wearing this, the last comment I received was, she goes, Dan, what are you wearing today? And she goes, you smell like butt powder for shaving. And I was laughing so hard, I should have asked her what the hell butt powder for shaving was, because I have no flippin' idea what the hell she was talking about. I was thinking maybe it was some type of feminine personal thing. I have no idea. But anyways, butt powder for shaving, that doesn't sound too good. And I gotta tell you, the response that I have with M7, with that powder feel, nobody liked it. They were all like, powder. Ew, and that got me to thinking. I have done a lot of work over 2 years, pretty much a daily basis, getting feedback from women at my job, not only the ones that I work with, but all the people that come through my store smelling me. And, you know, that's a lot of feedback. That's a lot of opinions, I think. And not once, me looking back, has anybody ever smelled a powder fragrance on me and went, powder. In fact, pretty much every single time, it was a negative reaction to the powder. So I don't know if it's just Wisconsin or what. Ladies up here don't like the powder, but powder to me definitely seems like a no-win in my book. In my world, it does anyway, for sure. I don't know what women, for me anyways, that would be attracted to powder. Maybe women that are getting ready to have a baby or something. I don't know. But to me, the ladies in my world definitely have a bad reaction to powder. Don't really find it, at least on a man anyway, don't really find it to be that appealing. Now, as far as reviews in the community, let's finish this off well. On base notes, this one gets 165 positives, 40 neutrals, and 35 negatives. And on Fragrantica, this one is definitely more in the love range. This thing has reached rockstar status. Now, on Fragrantica today, I just about lost my mind. There are 2 people on there. Who are you? That compared this fragrance, M7, to my beloved Oud. Said that M7 reminds them of Oud. I don't know who you are, but that just goes to prove never trust a review. Don't trust me. Don't trust my review. Sample it for yourself. Because as far as I'm concerned, M7 and Oud are light years apart. Oh, Al Oud, adore that stuff. Love that juice. M7, you already know, not so much. So whoever you are, that said, that M7 reminds you of Al Oud. I've tried clicking that no button to get it off there, but there's still one on there. Somebody go click that, get it off there. For me, for personal taste, this one is a pass. I would probably be in the neutral range, and as far as just judging it for what it is, I would give it very high marks. It's a very well done fragrance, and just might be your taste. Excellent one to look into for sure if you have not. But if you do get the powder that nobody really seems to mention, I told you so. But that is it, guys. That is my thoughts, my little journey with M7. I'm kind of glad that it's over. I don't want to wear it anymore. But that is it, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed. You guys take care, and we'll see you soon.